So look, before we start this show here, I got to thank my barbecue brother Kenneth over at North Texas Barbecue Addicts, and also a big thanks has to go out to Six Brothers Beef for supplying the brisket. So look, my name is Tommy and this is the Gallery Backyard Barbecue. If this is your first time here, please consider hitting that subscribe button and ringing that bell so you get notified every time the channel does a future upload. I got to thank Smokestack Joe. It was his channel that I got all the research really I needed for this Goldee's method of how I am going to do this brisket today. We got the brisket in the Lone Star. We are going to take it 10-12 hours, whatever it is. We will hold that pit between 225 and 250. Once we hit about that 190 or so, we will get it out. We will get it on the board. We will hit it with some beef tallow. We will wrap it up in some double foil, and we will get it in the oven for a hot hold for at least 12 to 15 hours at approximately 150 to 160 Fahrenheit. So look, that is the plan, and needless to say, I am definitely jacked up. So look, I was up here at 3 o'clock in the morning, got the brisket on approximately 4:30. It's been on for 3 hours now. I'm gonna walk on over to the pit, set up the camera. In the meantime, what I am going to do is take you back to last night when I prepped up this brisket, and also I rubbed it down with a salt, pepper, and granulated garlic. So look, as noted, this is a Six Brothers Beef sponsored cook, and I definitely want to thank them. This is about a 14-pounder, and we will do a quick basic backyard trim. I also have to remind you guys to make sure you go check out my guy Kenneth. He is also doing a Six Brothers Beef brisket. This is a collab, and I gotta tell you, I don't know if he's doing it on his Weber kettle, but the dude is definitely a Weber kettle genius. Yeah. All the proper links will be left down below. Again, make sure you go check out his brisket and tell him that Tommy sent you. So usually I just go with a straight out salt and black pepper on my briskets, but my black pepper was a little fugazi, so I'm just gonna go with this Texas Bold. Yeah. So look, up at 3 a.m., firing up that cube at 4 a.m., and I gotta tell you, man, I don't know about you, but I love days like this where I fire up that pit in the wee hours of the morning. Oh, yeah. And there you see the brisket hitting the old Lone Star. It is approximately 4:30 a.m. Guys, if not mentioned, I am gonna roll with some cherry wood. Yeah. As noted, we are 3 hours into the cook. That is a 3-hour straight run with no peak. We are going to hit it with a straight water spritz. And don't forget to hit underneath that brisket. And we're just going to grab a quick temp check, and we are looking at about 140 or so in 3 hours. Oh, yeah. Alrighty, look, so we are 140 internal on that 3-hour mark. We've spritzed it out with just a plain old water. And if I didn't mention it before, this is a no-wrap brisket, so we are going to take this right up to that 190 or so, and then we will hit it with the foil, we will hit it with the beef tallow, and it is in the oven for an overnight hold at about 150 to 160. Yeah. Alrighty, we are at hour 7. Between hour 2 and hour 7, I probably spritzed, every hour, hour and a half or so. Figured I'd bring you in to take a look. We will give it a spritz. We are definitely in the stall as she has not moved for the past hour. Let's go in, let's check it out. After that, it is just smooth sailing right to 190. 7 hours in, and I can tell you we are starting to develop a nice bark. Look, that was a straight run to 3, and we temped out at 140. Now at the 7-hour mark, we have, we are about 170 internal, so we got a little bit of time left. So look, we are coming up on that 11th hour, and we are reading at 190 internal. That looks pretty good to me. Let's go in, let's check it out. Then we will get it on the board, and we will take this to the next step. 11 hours in, and one thing for sure, man, that bark is looking killer, man. Oh, yeah. That is exactly what one would hope for. We will get this on the board, get it in some tallow as mentioned. We will get this wrapped up in foil nice and tight and move it on over in and get it in the stove. Yeah. Alrighty, and that is a wrap on this part, and I do have a couple concerns. One, when I probed it, she was probing a little bit tender than expected. I expected a little bit more resistance, didn't get it. So she's close to almost finished. That is number one. So did I overdo it in the pit? We shall see tomorrow. And also, of course, it is cooked way before I had expected. I figured 5, 6 o'clock tonight. 12, 13 hours would have put me at about 6, 7 tomorrow morning. Now we are looking at about 3, 4 tomorrow morning. So I'm going to have to stretch this out another few hours before we can reveal it. Will that stem to a little bit overdoneness? We will just have to wait and see. Other than that, I enjoy the hell out of this Lone Star offset, that is for sure. Either way, this was a fun cook. This is a fun experiment, and I have a feeling this is going to be quite damn good. I mean, that bark is looking killer. So that is that. We will see you guys in about 14 hours. Alrighty, and here we are. It is about 7:30 a.m. in the morning, and let's do a quick rundown on where we are. The night before, we cleaned up the brisket, we rubbed it down, we put it in the fridge, covered in saran wrap for about 8 hours. We got it on the pit, we slow smoked it all the way up to about 190, 192 internal. That took us about 11 hours. We took it out, we put it on the stove for a couple hours before we stuck it in the stove with that temperature of 170, and we let it go for about 12 hours in the stove. So that is about a 15-hour overall after it was cooked. And then we put it on the board here. We wrapped it up in a couple pieces of foil with also some beef tallow spread on the bottom and the top. And that is that, and the moment of truth is here. Let me bring this camera down. I've got some cameras set up here. The question is, did we overcook it or not? And we will find that out now. Start to finish, 36 hours or so. And I can tell you, man, that is definitely looking good. I mean, look at the juices coming off the top. Which once was a crispier bark because you wrapped it and got it in the oven with that tallow. It has mellowed out a little bit. We got some nice color though. And she is definitely cutting like butter. As she sits, that smoke ring will definitely brighten up a little bit. Oh man. Oh yeah. You know, you got to get a little bit of money in there. I mean, that is friggin' looking a killer. I mean, so tender, man. It is just about perfectly cooked. Oh, yeah. Guys, we are going to lay this out. We are going to take this in for some live thoughts on this cook, a little taste test, and we will close it all out. Yeah. Guys, I'm just going to come out and say it, man. This is probably one of the better, if not the best, brisket that I've ever cooked. And I have to say, man, the surprising part of it all is it is the most no muss, no fuss brisket that I've ever done. In other words, I didn't care really when it was going to be finished on the smoker because I knew I was going to hot hold it in the oven. So time really was all on my side. It could have took 15 hours. It could have took the 11 hours that it did. It really didn't matter because, again, I can hot hold it. I can hot hold it out of the oven for a couple hours to adjust my serving time and then stick it in the oven just for that overnight to kind of finish it off, and it'll be all ready to serve the next day. Now, yeah, it is 7:30 in the morning, but I did wake up on 3 o'clock to get this deal done. If I was, say, serving this for dinner tonight, I would have adjusted my time, because again, I know it's going to take about 11 hours on the pit, so I would have adjusted that 3 o'clock time to put it on a little bit later. And again, to hot hold it throughout the night into the next day, it is a no-brainer. And of course, the flavor, man, is spot on. Is it a better flavor than, say, any other brisket that I've done? You know, I'm not going to go out on the limb to say that. I'm going to call this the best brisket, or close to the best brisket that I've done, just for the ease of use of doing it. Of course, quick taste test before we close it out. You know, look, it's juicy. It's certainly, definitely 100% not overcooked. I mean, it is not even close to being overcooked, so I am definitely pleased about that. I probably could have held this in the oven for another couple hours, no problem. I mean, you know, this is the perfect brisket, man. It is pretty perfect. So look, man, that is going to close out this one, man. This was a fun show. There is no doubt about it. Again, this is going to be my go-to method for cooking a brisket, unless I need it fast, where I got to go hot and fast. But if I am going to do 11-hour smoke and I have the time, I am going to hold it overnight in the oven. So look, man, that is going to close out this show. I got to thank my man Kenneth over at Six Brothers Beef for supplying us with this brisket. I mean, this brisket is killer for sure. I got all information on them down below. Check them out. And again, my name is Tommy. That is Molly right there staring at me. And until next time, we will definitely see you soon.